Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-hosts, Russell Jackman and Mike McDowd. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a trivia question. The first one I think is easy. The second one, kind of easy. And the third one, I don't know. You guys shouldn't be too upset with these questions. Mike, you won't have to throw up your hands like, oh my gosh, what kind of question is that? Yeah, there you go. The audience can't see that unless you do YouTube. He just throws up his hands like, I give up. But you'll be okay. All right. This is our short little intro segment. So what are we going to talk about in the next segment?
Well, we've got the NBA playoffs start tomorrow in the play-in games, the East and the West. The Warriors just sputtering like a biplane that's full of World War I biplane that's full of holes, and has the smoke pouring out of the back of it, and it's like sputtering and trying to get to the runway. I'm not sure it's going to be.
I actually was in one of those planes. Not when
really.
And it was like, I'll never do it again. He did all these acrobat things. I almost lost my cookies. And the only thing holding you in, there's no parachute, is literally a little clip, a little tiny clip, and that's it. And I said, wait a minute, where's my seatbelt? He goes, don't worry, centrifugal force will keep you in. I go, I'm praying for centrifugal force.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh my God, that is scary.
Oh yeah, because you do a barrel roll, and then you go up, and then you go. I mean, it was.
Where'd you do that, Edward?
Oh my gosh, I was 25 years old. I had a client who did those tours, World War I biplane tours in the Napa Valley, and so he invited me to do it. And And at the time, Eva was my girlfriend, and I figured I'd let her go first. And I knew she didn't really like heights, but she was like okay with it. And then so it was my turn. I'm thinking, oh, she can do it, I can do it. No, she's a lot braver than I am. All right, audience, stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Mike McDowd and Russell Jackman. All right, so we talked a little biplane World War I aircraft thing that I did. Don't worry, I kept my cookies in, barely, but I did. Let's see. Okay, let's get into a little bit of sports. So
that biplane thing is pretty cool. That's legendary out in the Napa Valley as you go into Sonoma Valley. I remember seeing that thing as a kid and thinking, who goes on those things? So you're one of the only guys I've ever met that actually flew there. That's wild.
Once, and you know what the interesting thing about that was, the pilot actually wasn't my client. He was like doing a different thing, so he had me go with a guy who was like old from like World War II, and he did a fine job. And then I found out 2 weeks later he was he was doing a stunt, and he got too close to the ground and he crashed, and it was a while for them to find him. And he was like really out of it. He lived, but he thought he was back in World War II. And he said,
Wow. Now, I think the first thing that we should start with is the most important thing, okay? Yeah. Which is that I like to always remind everybody when I was right. So I'd like to lord it over everybody that I picked Michigan to win the national championship.
Yes, you did.
Despite your scoffing and your naysaying and your disbelief that I would actually be right on that. I called the Final Four completely correct.
When I watched the finals over Econ, I kept thinking, oh, Russell's going to give it to me. And never let me live this down.
No, ever.
To your credit, Russell, I got to give you that. But, I mean, gosh. Yeah, all right. They were the most dominant team, at least in one junction. But I still think Arizona did not show up at all that one game. They got smoked. And give credit. You know what? If it was a series, I wonder how it would be, because I thought UConn played them. They played them as good as you're going to play them. And
I agree.
They could have beat them if things were going their way a little bit better, you know?
But Michigan's defense was they were all over. They were just like white on rice.
I told you guys they were chewing teams up and spitting them out. on their way to that championship. It's one of the more dominant championships as far as like how they beat everybody on their way to and it's funny to think of, the greatness of the Fab Five and that Michigan team didn't accomplish what we just saw this team, and now we're no longer waiting for Cadeau.
Well, yeah, and furthermore, this Fab Five team, I mean, this is a better Michigan team than the Fab Five. They won a national title. The Fab Five didn't do that.
Kind of national credit. There wasn't the kind of, hullabaloo about this team.
No. Were they all freshmen, the Fab Five?
No, they weren't.
Close to it.
Yeah.
A couple of them.
Some of them were. But you're talking, what was that, 1995 or something, 92?
No, 1985, I think, is where you're.
95, yeah.
That was Chris Webber.
And Juwan Howard.
Yeah, that was a great team.
Yeah. Those are the three I remember. Juwan Howard, Jalen Rose, and Chris
Jimmy
Webber.
King
So,
did nothing.
Oh, yeah. He didn't really go too far. So there was a little bit of a golf tournament over this weekend, wasn't there?
Oh, just a little bit. I mean, Rory roared back. The guy was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
90th Master, finished 12 under par to win another green jacket. And, just him and Scotty Scheffler were just neck and neck. And, he dominated Thursday and Friday of the tournament and then kind of slid off a little bit on Saturday. Sunday, he was under. But, man, he roared back, played his golf, and did what he's supposed to do. And, it's his sixth career major, which is pretty cool. And he won $4.5 million for that win. That's not a bad day at the office for a few days of work, for a week's work. But you got to give credit to this guy. I mean, he's one of the best golfers to play the game. He did something with Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, Tiger Woods, only golfers to ever do this, win back to back. So this Masters, man, congratulations to Rory. And if you guys ever get a chance to go see this tournament, this is unlike any other. I mean, this is truly iconic, special stuff. The way they run it, the way that it's presented, the prices are still the same, from the famous Georgia peach sandwiches to the pimento cheese sandwich. I mean, people love this stuff, but it's a really special week.
Aren't they still the same price that they were like in 1920 or something?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's why, I mean, who does that? That's so awesome.
Like $1.50 or something like that. The sandwiches are only like
that's
a
lot of money, but that's pretty cool. They keep the prices down. But now, what happened to CBS with their camera crew?
You telling me? You saw it. I missed that.
Yeah, apparently it was all over the internet. Apparently, the way that the camera was focusing on Rory, it's like they only had his back, so you couldn't see him putt, and like the last four shots or something that were really important to see. Nobody on TV got to really see the real shots like you do. Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Was it position wrong? It's kind of strange.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a four-way tie for third place, a four-way tie for third. So it was like Terrell Hatton, Justin Rose, all those guys. That's pretty wild. But
what's the price?
No, have
what's the price?
I wanted to go this year. I was going to go, but have any of you guys been to this tournament? Because I mean, literally, you can go to the Super Bowl, you can go to the World Series, you can go to WrestleMania. It's so unique the way it's run, and they say it's like by far the best run event in sports, which really makes it. It just oozes tradition, which is great. And have any of you guys been?
No, the only two really big things that I've been to like that are the NBA All-Star Game when it was in Oakland in 2000, and I was at WrestleMania 2. So I can say that for myself, but those are the only two. Like,
where was WrestleMania?
It was in 3 cities at the same time. That was the one event they tried to do it in 3 cities at the same time. One was in Los Angeles, one was in Chicago, and the other one was in New York. And I was at
but then you have the same wrestlers. the one if you want to see, Hulk Hogan, but he's in Chicago, you don't get to see
No,
him
I
in
saw
LA.
him in
It's
LA.
happening.
I saw the Hogan, but
Well, you know what I
in
mean.
LA.
The
But yeah,
people in
I
Chicago.
didn't get to see the Battle Royale. That was in Chicago, and I didn't see the matches that were in New York. You had to see those by on the TV screen, in the arena. So they didn't do it like it.
Well, I did. I did get to see the first. I think it was the first Monday Night Football game that the Oakland Raiders played. Back when they played the Bengals, and I think it was 1970, if I'm not mistaken. That's the only football game I've actually gone to.
It's not a Super Bowl, man. It's not even an All-Star.
Really?
I have. No, I've been to Lee Steinberg's Super Bowl party, which was kind of fun, but I've never been to the actual Super Bowl.
With this show, we have no script. We don't really have big production meetings. We have a big budget. We get paid a lot of money, as you guys know. But you just said Oakland, and I'm going to randomly throw something out at you. How about those Oakland A's, baby? 8-7 in second place in the West in the American League, and they got one more year. They're going to be. I mean, it's another slap in the face to Oakland. Another slap in the face to Oakland.
Are they still playing it in Sacramento?
Yeah,
man.
Until
the Sacramento A's, baby. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting what's happened to Oakland. It's pathetic. It gets me fired up, man.
Okay, so here's our first trivia question, and you guys should know this one. What is the lowest place on Earth? What is the lowest place on Earth? That's our trivia question number one. Stay with us, audience. You'll have to come back to find out the answer to that. And we're going to be talking more sports and business on Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mike McDowd and Russell Jackman. Our first trivia question: what is the lowest place on Earth?
Well, it's my house when I lose an argument with my wife, but I believe that it's Death Valley, isn't it?
No, I got this. Hold on, Russell. It's actually the day after my hangover. That's pretty good.
It is the actual answer you're looking for is Death Valley, isn't it?
That is correct. All right. Mr. Russell is 1 for 1. All right. So the NBA is going to be starting its playoffs. Do you guys like that play-in tournament thing?
More teams into it is more money. It's more excitement. It does give. I mean, the Warriors without it would be watching it on TV. A 37-win team for the Warriors this year is very miserable as a Warriors fan. It really
man.
Is a sad sign.
Russell and Edward, Russell especially, I know you're a big NBA guy. I used to cover the Warriors back in the day. Dude, the Warriors, I love the Warriors. In fact, our friend, the great Stephen Travers, is going to be interviewing Rick Barry coming up. And I said, Rick, you got to get Rick on our show. So we're hoping to have Rick Barry on our show.
We have had him on the show.
Well, we hope to have him again. So, but my point is, the Warriors era is over. It's over. I hate to say it. I want Steph Curry to be. The reason I bring this up, and I know all you guys are going to relate this. There was equally as magical as Steph Curry, Michael Jordan. So when Michael Jordan left, what happened to the Bulls? They were never the same. The question is that going to happen for the Warriors? Great likelihood it will. But the other question is, how do we prevent this from happening? The Lakers have done a pretty good job to kind of resurface after Magic. They brought in LeBron. But who is our next Steph Curry? Who's our next LeBron? It's such a...
Lakers had a number of years where they finished behind the Kings in the standings. So it wasn't an instant thing from when Kobe left to when they got LeBron. And keep in mind, with LeBron, they haven't won a real NBA championship. They won the bubble title, if you want to give them that. But most people don't consider it very legit. And in an 82-game season, they haven't won with LeBron either.
Is that the bubble title? Is that the one? Was that during COVID?
2020.
COVID, yeah.
The same can be said about the Dodgers winning their World Series.
I do say that about the Dodgers.
They have one. They have one legit. I'll give them that. But
Well, no, they've
you
won
know,
2 now, back to back.
Yeah, I know, but he's saying one of them is legit, the other one's not because of that. Yeah, but somebody had to win it though, right? It's not like they
Yeah,
played by
but the season
themselves.
was all messed up, and everybody was playing in front of video. You're playing in front of cardboard fans. It's just not. Yeah,
So,
that's just not real.
but every team had the same
And the way that
advantage
I
or
look at it
disadvantage.
is that if they were to go on to win another championship right after that, like the way that the Dodgers have, then it makes it look more legitimate. But the fact that they've only won that one time and they haven't won since then makes me think that that was really more than them taking advantage of a really crappy situation that, the rest of the league just couldn't really recover from. And they haven't sustained it. Like San Antonio won the title in 1999, where there was only a 50-game season, but then they went on to win another title after that. In an 82-game season. That makes that look a lot more legit. And
Was that it was a strike then,
yeah,
wasn't
it
it?
was the lockout. It was the lockout in '99.
Oh, yeah.
And it lasted for.
Well, it'd be interesting to see, with Oklahoma City, because they
Oh yeah,
they get a lot of young
they're gonna
guys.
clobber everybody. If I have to make a claim right now, it's Oklahoma City versus the field. I'll take Oklahoma City over everybody else that's in the NBA. And maybe even an all-star team right now of everybody in the NBA couldn't stop the way that Oklahoma City's playing right now. They are an all-star team all by themselves.
yeah, but if you look at their records, 64-18, and then followed by San Antonio 62-20, really not far behind Detroit 60-22. So I mean, there's some parity there. They're not like 75 and 10 or anything like that. But you follow what I'm saying?
They didn't need
are
it.
they playing?
They didn't need it.
Are they playing the best basketball right now? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and they have home
and that's all
court
that really
for the
matters.
entire.
We can,
Yeah,
that's all that really
yeah.
matters. Who plays the best ball at the end? I mean,
You know what? I'm going to bring up a name that. Whatever happened to Blake Griffin? Because when you mentioned the Pistons,
Yeah,
I
I'll
was
tell you
thinking,
what
okay,
happened
for
to
a long time.
Blake Griffin. I'll tell you what happened to Blake Griffin. He's
what's
doing commercials now for that furniture store, Wayfair.
That's right. That's right. He is. He is. I think he's some State Farm too.
Part of charades. He does charades.
Yeah, he was so funny when they would do the commercials where he took the kids football and he goes, wrong ball, and he'd kick it, he'd lose his ball.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same thing, Russell. In fact, I'm like, I literally said, this guy's got a great agent. I mean, he's got a great agent. He's getting these gigs. I mean, so life's pretty good for him.
He's a good guy.
He should not need any money.
No, I know, but he played for the Pistons last, didn't he? And then just one day he was gone. And I mean, there was a big hype when he played for the Clippers.
I know, but the league passed him by, and he was getting injured too much, and he was playing terribly, and he's still able to sell himself to Wayfair. So I guess that's fine. But he made so much money as an NBA player, probably over $100 million, that I would be shocked if he.
Concerned for his financial welfare. I was just kind of curious, like, whatever happened? He just sort of disappeared.
People do that. I mean, people's careers end, and most people don't want a lot of fanfare when they finish, because they're kind of, especially as they finish on a down slope, they don't want to really point that out to people that, like, I have to retire because I can't really play anymore. Look, something about like that is about to happen to Klay Thompson. He has one more year left on his deal. All his numbers are way down. He earned $17 million, and I knew that in the third year, Dallas was going to regret that contract. I even said it on the show. I said they're going to be okay in the first year with him.
Same thing. I don't understand how they traded Luka Doncic, for eyebrows.
Right, and then they cut him. Then they got rid of him. But they were lucky to get Cooper Flagg, and so they have. But they were still 11 games worse than the Warriors. They were a 25-win team or 26-win team. So they, despite Cooper Flagg and all the accolades that he's gotten, they might win the lottery again this year. Given how, I think that the frozen envelope is still alive in the NBA draft. I think the NBA draft is totally corrupted, and that there's a conspiracy afoot that bigger market teams win the lottery a
Well,
lot more than the small market teams, and I think that
Draymond Green pointed out he goes, you know what, for these teams that are tanking because of this, he goes, there should be some fines. But of course, how do you prove that they're tanking? Just, someone says they're hurt. I mean, there was a time when Popovich just didn't play his starting five, I think it was, just
well,
because.
I did want to bring up in the idea of tanking, the Utah Jazz played the Memphis Grizzlies, and something happened that had never happened before in the history of the NBA. Do you know what it is, Michael?
When they tanked?
No, the two of the worst teams in the NBA set a record that had never been set before in the NBA when the Utah Jazz faced the Memphis Grizzlies last week.
Okay.
Lowest score?
This is recently?
Yeah.
No.
The score was 156 to 135.
Okay, so it's not the lowest score.
Wasn't overtime.
Yes.
And they did something that had never been done before in the history of the NBA. Five players got triple doubles.
5 players got triple doubles. Where
Yes.
have I been?
I'm sorry?
That is because where have I been? Yeah, I mean, to
That's
even have
insane.
2 players.
What was the final?
It is.
157 to 137?
I think it was 156 to 135 or something.
35. Utah and Memphis.
Yes. Because the score, the guys are just
Almost
going up
300
and
points were
shooting like
scored.
crazy.
Almost 300 points.
And the final, the guy who got the bench player got the triple, actually got a quadruple double because he got double digits in points, in blocks, in steals, in assists, and also 10 turnovers. He also had 10 turnovers. So he had a quadruple double. He didn't get the block.
Yeah, but the last one's not a good one.
Right, exactly. You don't want double digits in turnovers, but a crazy game. So I don't know. In a game like that, I don't know if you can say that one team is tanking over the other when you have 5. It was just a statistical whirlwind, because everybody was trying to get their numbers in and get the.
Oh yeah, they were all talking about how much bonus money they get. Yeah, which is kind of crazy. If you're the owner of the team, you ready to tell your coach, "Hey, you know what? Don't put this guy in the last quarter. I don't want him to get his point."
I don't know. I think it's really hard to tank. I think it's harder to tank than you think it is because, the players that you're telling to tank, they may not be on the team the next year. And so what good is it for them to just play terribly?
Exactly. Okay. Hey guys, we're going to get to our second trivia question here. What is the most used spice in the world? What is the most used spice in the world? All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
Oh.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown along with Russell Jackman and Mike McDowd. Our second trivia question: what is the most used spice in the world?
I got it.
Russell.
Oh.
No, let Michael. I hogged the first answer.
Go ahead.
I want to say it's pepper.
Yes, black pepper.
I was going to say old.
Old pepper?
No, Old Spice.
Old Spice, yes. There you go.
Remember those Old Spice commercials? Make a man of me now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, boy. It was like this, great lady, this great Asian lady with this wonderful accent, has a tough time speaking English. And, I don't know. I'm surprised they even got away with that. Like you're making fun of the, but it's a funny commercial. It's great. It's like, for example, in today's world, and you and I all know this, I don't care what anybody says. No, I'm not a racist. I don't know. I don't hang around with people who are racist, by the way. I don't care for those people. But we all know blazing saddles could not be made today. And Blazing Saddles was awesome. It was funnier than you know what. It was.
Yeah, but then, yeah, but again, there was a different time you could do that kind of stuff, and nobody was really offended. Well, or it was specifically supposed to be offensive, but you kind of took it stride as being offensive.
He offended everybody. I'm okay if you're going to offend everybody at one time. Then you're an equal opportunity offender. It's when you pick on one race or another.
That's what Mel Brooks did. That's what Mel Brooks did.
You're right.
Mel Brooks is a genius. That's what he did.
Yeah. Okay, you guys ready for our silly pun of the week? I know you're gonna love this one. So I swallowed a dictionary. It gave me the sorest throat I've ever had.
Wow, that is something I have.
That's pretty bad. Yeah, that's what I said. So it's a silly pun of the week. Wow. The sorest throat I've ever had. Come on, guys. That's a good dad one. All right. Hey, you know what? I did want to mention here also, a local place here, Mountain Mike's Pizza in San Rafael. Mountain Mike's for Mike McDowell, right?
That's right, baby.
Pizza the way it all.
Triple pepperoni.
Oh, you know what? They put like I don't want to quote saying it. They put on 100 slices, but it seems like 100 slices
it's so good.
On an extra large.
It's delicious.
It's so in Nevada. We have one up here in Nevada.
There's one in Nevada, yeah. But our friends in Jonathan in San Rafael, he's got the one in San Rafael, and I've not eaten the one from Nevada, but the one in San Rafael is phenomenal. In San Rafael, pizza the way it ought to be. All right, what are we going to cover in this last segment, boys?
Hey, just an interesting topic. This week, I know this show is going to get played over the weekend, but during the week on the 15th of April, just something to talk about and how we evolved. But 1947 was the year that Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, playing for the Brooklyn Dodgers at Ebbets Fields, and I think that's one of the great. Unfortunately, Jackie.
Wait, hold on though. He actually didn't break the color barrier. If you go back, if you've ever been to the Hall of Fame, specifically there was a guy named Fleetwood Walker, and he's right there, and he's in the 1880s, I think it was, probably in the early 1880s. And a black guy just was on a team. It was Cap Anson who was the main culprit for getting rid of black people in, quote, modern baseball until Jackie Robinson came along. So
yeah, but Jackie Robinson is the first one to play in the major leagues.
I don't know. The 1880s was major leagues.
The major leagues weren't around back then.
1869 is when the Cincinnati Redlegs started. No, they had the major leagues.
It still wasn't made the major league.
True.
So I think that's why Jackie Robinson gets all the credit.
Well, that's true. I mean, because you're thinking about it's got to be 50 or 60 years in between. But just for those people, because I remember going to the Hall of Fame, and that's one of the first things you see because they're talking about old baseball, and I'm going, wait a minute. I go, that guy doesn't look white, and sure enough, it's a black player. He was really, really good, named Fleetwood Walker. I still remember that name.
I must admit I don't know a lot about him, and I need to do my research on him. But the guy that gets the credit is Jackie Robinson, and the thing about Jackie is you guys. I hope, and if you haven't watched it, I implore our
42?
Listeners to watch it. 42, Jackie Robinson. What a great movie. I mean, what a phenomenal. The poor guy went through hell and, endured garbage that nobody should have endured. And on top of the fact, he was an incredible baseball player.
Well, you know what? They actually had a that was from the 1950s or 60s. Well, maybe it was in the 70s. I have to look that up again. But that was really good too. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Jackie's in that movie. But you know what? One quick thing I've been watching. I just started watching about Bill Russell, and it's funny. I didn't realize he was only 6'9", but I was a big Will Chamberlain fan, so I wasn't a big Russell fan. But to see what he went through too, from a race, it was just he wins championships, and nowadays you win championships, and everybody they're hailing you as a hero, but back then, and especially in Boston, back east, I mean, it was sort of like, yeah, thank you very much, but got eat in the kitchen and don't live in my neighborhood type of thing. Just incredible.
Yeah. Well, ridiculous because, Boston is was known as a bit of a racist town,
Yeah.
and furthermore, you can look at the good old San Francisco Bay Area. San Francisco is not as welcoming as everybody thinks it was. Guess what? Willie Mays was definitely discriminated against. They didn't want him living in his neighborhood. He finally ended up living in what's that community down there? The very wealthy Hillsborough.
Bro, yeah.
But there was a big push to not allow Willie Mays to live in that area. Finally, I think a politician or a friend got him to live. I mean, Willie Mays is Willie Mays, no problem. But I'm just talking about. But Bill Russell, he really, he had a. I hate to say this, I don't know how to. A bit of a chip on his shoulder. I don't think he really liked white people, and I'm not. It's not. And that doesn't represent white people. I mean, listen, that was a terrible.
Watch this thing. He seemed to have a really good relationship with his teammates. And
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. But the way that he was, he should never have been treated like that. Of course, we all know that.
But the thing is, even when Jackie Robinson played, now that was 10 years or so earlier. He was having problems with some of his teammates, not all of them. But during this special that I'm watching, so far there hasn't been any issue within the team. It's all been, just the fans.
We also have to remember that the NBA didn't have that much prominence when Bill Russell was winning his championships. It was really seen as like the third sport and really far behind what football and baseball were. So being an NBA champion at that time in Boston, they didn't really know what they had until like later on when he had won multiple titles that he started getting that respect. But his first couple of titles, they were like big deal because being an NBA champion meant very little to the populace at that point.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember this, but the NBA, even though you had Chamberlain and Jerry West and all that,
only had 18.
It was dying until Larry Bird and Magic Johnson in '79.
You only had 8 teams during the time that Bill Russell was winning championships. So it really didn't affect most of the United States. It wasn't like, people look at the NBA now and see what a huge machine it is. But back then in the 60s, it was really just barely functioning with 8 teams. It is pretty hard to think like what,
I think
the same thing about the NHL, though. You say the same thing about the NHL, the Grade 8. They've started out, but that's not to say that the talent wasn't like spectacular, because it was.
No, you watch some of these clips, though. The thing is, I think one of the reasons the NBA is so popular, these guys are so much more athletic and talented. Now, again, Will Chamberlain could play at any team, at any, like a Babe Ruth could play at any team, any era. Same thing with, Bill Russell.
Jerry West could play at any era. Elgin Baylor could play at any era. Come on.
I don't
know.
But
Richie Guerin, you don't think Richie Guerin would have cut it in today's NBA?
Yeah. Who? Yeah. Okay, maybe not.
I know who Richie Guerin is.
Rick Barry. Rick Barry is one of the all-time great forwards in history. I don't care what anybody says. Look at his.
Okay, Ted Williams. You can always pick a player, but just in general, let's put it this way: if you were to take last year's NBA champs, Oklahoma City Thunder, they would have wiped the floor with any of those teams from before.
Oh, they wouldn't have had anyone that could measure up to Chet Holmgren. What, are you kidding me? Chet Holmgren at 7'4" would even take a guy like George Mikan and squish him down.
No. Will Chamberlain would have taken Holmgren to task. He was 7'2", and he was 267 pounds or something.
He also didn't have anyone next to him like Isa Hartenstein.
No, you're right. As I'm just talking one when you say like a specific player, but just in general, the talent of NBA is so much better now than it used to be. Go ahead, Mike.
However, there's an argument to be made, because if you look at players over the eras, I hear this, what you're saying, a lot, but I contend that, the level of Fundamentals that were played back then were much better than today. Crisper passing, better execution. It just was. I mean, they didn't have a
The stats
3-point line.
don't back you up
They
on
didn't
that,
have a
Mike.
3-point line, so
The
they couldn't
stats
shoot.
do not back
So
you up.
Huh?
The stats do not back you up. Field goal
Doesn't
percentage was
matter.
a lot lower.
If you look at some of these
was a lot
instructors,
lower.
I mean, the fundamentals were phenomenal back there because they were
The
basic.
two
They were.
things that were higher.
It wasn't Showtime basketball back then.
There are
It
only
was
two things
fundamental
that were
basketball.
higher statistically in previous years, and that's rebounding and fouls.
Statistics don't always mean the game's better. Okay, it doesn't.
We're not talking about, when you say the game better, I'm just talking about the talent. I mean, a guy like Michael Jordan, right? I mean, you watch him, and you can't see any. Let's put it this way: who going way back? I mean, Bob Cousy, was very talented. He could handle the ball really
Oscar
well.
Robertson probably got the closest.
Jerry West, Elgin Baylor.
Yeah. But I mean, just in general, like
John Havlicek. Yeah, John Havlicek.
But
John Havlicek is a NBA Hall of Fame player.
But field goal percentages are up 10% from what they were back in the 60s. And I know because I peruse the 60s statistics. In fact, my friend and I are going over the 60s stuff right now in a statistical basketball game that we're putting together. And the 60s, there's a lot more rebounding and there's a lot more fouls, but there's not the field goal percentages and the assists were way down from where you are today.
The reason counting is high is because guys were missing a lot.
Well, it was a different game too.
Hey, let's go to our last trivia question here. This one's kind of
Can't talk NHL.
I don't watch any, so I don't know what.
We never talk NHL, man.
I mean, I like to watch some of the highlights, but other than that, I can't really get into it.
We got to get an NHL player on the show. We got to talk some NHL.
I haven't had one a long time ago.
The San Jose Sharks again out of the playoffs, Bay Area, and congratulations to the Las Vegas Golden Knights. They're what they're doing is phenomenal.
Yes,
they're going to win another Stanley Cup.
It's just a personal thing. Okay, why are flamingos pink? Okay, that's our trivia question. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Russell Jackman and Mike McDowd. Our last trivia question: why are flamingos pink?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of
that way. It doesn't count.
Does it have to do with something that they eat?
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, it's something with the fish that they eat. Something I don't know specifically any more than that.
They eat a lot of shrimp.
Shrimp, that's right.
Is that what it is? Yeah, because they're not actually pink, but the shrimp makes their bodies. Yeah,
and they look really silly if they were blue.
Well, that's true. It's like, if they eat a bunch of carrots, you turn a little bit orange. Okay, are you ready for our thoughts for the day? Always, right?
Yeah, I guess we have to be, right?
The flamingos thing.
We all know that Albert Einstein was a genius, but his brother Frank, he was a monster.
Yes. Except that it was the monster, but that Frankenstein was the professor.
Dr. Frankenstein. Dr. Frankenstein was the professor doctor. Yeah, but Frankenstein's monster. Yes, right. Okay. And today's cars have very cool technologies. I put my car in reverse, and a video of a cyclist getting hit started playing. I thought that was pretty good.
Tiger Woods needs something like that. Tiger Woods needs a car like that.
Hey, man, what about the WNBA draft? We hit on that big time tonight.
Well, there you go.
Guys. Good job.
Okay,
Good job.
Hold on. We got one more last one here. Now, this is from Charles Schultz from Peanuts. Don't worry about the world coming to an end today. It's already tomorrow in Australia.
They'll let us know. They'll let us know.
That's why we're excited the WNBA draft.
You know what? We should ask them about who got at the horse races, who won. If they already pro, they should be able to tell us. All right, audience, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
No, we won't.
Take care.
Yeah,
We
we're
will
gonna
see
not
you
see
soon.
everyone. You'll see
2
us
weeks
again
from now.
on the same show next
audience
week.
doesn't know that. Shh.
You already said it.